All right, so my name is Craig Kingsbury. I'm on the customer success team here at Issuu. Just a little bit about me. What I do with Issuu is help any of our prospective publishers or current publishers just better understand the tools that we have available within the platform. So everything from uploading content, sharing it, understanding just how to best use the tool. And then I'm also joined here by Liz. She's works over at Wisteria Home Decor. They make a really great catalog. I reached out and she was gracious enough to join us and talk a little bit about her role and how they use Issuu to promote their publication. Liz, do you want to just say hi and just kind of tell everyone a little bit about your role with Wisteria?
Hi, everyone. So yes, I am Elizabeth. I'm the e-commerce merchandising associate at Wisteria. I manage the execution of site merchandising and all landing page digital assets.
Perfect. Cool. So I'm just going to move along. So just a little bit about what we're going to talk about today. What is the Issuu Story Cloud? So that's something that that's one of our newer features. If you haven't seen anything on that we'll cover, and how you can actually integrate that directly with your catalogs and share them out across social. That includes the next topic, that's the article stories and visual stories. We're also going to do our feature overview for catalogs. So just the different features that are within the platform that you can use, and you can use to share your content out, track performance, and then we'll also be doing the highlight of Wisteria. That's where Liz is just going to hop on and give a background on how she uses the platform and a little bit about how Wisteria promotes their publications in the digital landscape. And then from that point, I'm just going to hop into the tool, walk through the different features that are available, where to find them, how to use them, best practices, things like that. And then if anyone does have any questions, please do feel free just to submit into the Q&A. Again, it's just at the bottom of your screen, and you can submit questions at any time. And at the very end, we'll just be able to answer any questions that come up. So just real quick, one of the things that I wanted to cover on this was the importance of sharing your content, making it available in as many places as possible. So one of those places being social media. So it's just going to make it easier for your audience to access your content. It's going to increase your digital presence. And it's going to also give you a closer connection with your readers, just seeing your content in those different places that they're spending time online. It's also going to give you better mobile optimization, and then just deliver content directly to your audience. So the first thing that I was going to talk about, this is the Issuu Story Cloud. And this actually comes in two forms. One of them is called article stories, and then the other one is visual stories. What you're seeing on the screen right now, this is an example of the article stories. And a lot like the name suggests, this is going to involve more text and integrating that a lot like what you would see on Google News, Apple News, any sort of those channels. You can actually convert over your traditional flipbook publications into vertical scroll experiences. So if you're ever wanting to highlight a specific product or anything like that and share those across social media, this is a really great way to do that. And we have some examples that are built from Wisteria's content that we'll be able to show you and kind of walk you through that. And then also how to build that yourself and just show you really how simple it is and then to share it. One of the great parts about this is it not only is it easy for you to share, but it's also easy for your audience to share. So if anyone sees this content in that sort of format, it makes it really simple for them to go ahead and share that across social media and then leverage their networks as well. You can create as many as you want. There's absolutely no limit to the amount of stories that you do create. And then if you do post anything, if you use the hashtags, hashtag Issuu Story and follow Issuu on any of those social media channels, our marketing team is constantly looking for content to promote and share across those different channels. So visual stories, this is one of our newer features. This is sort of to go along with the article stories. And what this does is it allows you to highlight your best visual content. You can kind of see in the example over here on the right, just what you're able to do with this and share this out. It just allows you to create really concise, direct messages that you can share, especially across like Instagram, Instagram stories, Facebook stories, anywhere where you're really trying to target your content with that visual content, this is going to be a great way for you to go ahead and do that. And again, you can create as many as you want. So there's absolutely no limit on the amount of stories that you can create and share across social media. So one of the things that I want to touch on with the visual stories especially is when you do create a visual story, and we'll be able to get into more detail on what this actually means when we're in the tool, but it will actually give you a Google AMP link. And what that means is one of Google's new initiatives. And AMP stands for Accelerated Mobile Pages, which is a Google-led initiative designed for mobile-focused content. And why this is really important is it's going to optimize for Google indexing. So it's going to make your content more searchable for readers, especially when they're looking at content on their mobile phone, which is the direction that most people are going when they're searching across the web. The amount of people that are searching, with Google through their laptops, which was always more traditional, is actually going down, and the amount of people that are searching, for content through their phones is going way up. So the amount of time that people are spending on their phones searching for stuff through that format is becoming more and more prevalent. And this is why this sort of tool is going to be really beneficial for you, just to make your content more discoverable and easier to interact with in that smaller screen. It's also really fast loading, so it keeps your audience engaged and entertained. They're not going to have to wait around for anything to pull up. It's really rich as far as visuals go. It's going to really captivate them and make it more interesting for them to also share to anyone else who might be interested in that sort of content. And then, of course, it's mobile focused. So it's full screen. They can tap through. It's a lot like if you've ever interacted with Instagram stories or Facebook stories, anything like that. And you can see just in this example, just sort of how that works. So just a last little bit about AMP. Again, it's search engine friendly. So the format has high chances of ranking on competitive keywords. So if you're looking for new ways to really amp up your SEO and get your content showing up higher in search results, this is a great way to do that. With Google indexing it and it being a Google initiative, they'll actually show up higher to the top of the list just because it is created in a Google AMP format. And it's easy to consume, and then best of all, for everyone on this call, it's easy to create. Before, where you would need like a developer to actually create these things, we've sort of made this a lot more simple for you, where you can really create these in just a few minutes without having to have any sort of special technical knowledge. So the features that we're going to talk about today, embedding shopping links. If it's something that you're not doing right now with catalogs, this is definitely something that you should consider doing. It's really going to help you drive traffic directly to products from within your catalog from Issuu over to where they can actually purchase those online. You can customize it. You can add your logo. It's really going to make it easier for people to share socially specific products that maybe somebody else they know would be interested in. And of course, they can read it between devices, and then you can embed it, anywhere. So whether that's your own website, posting to social media, this is going to really allow you to do that and shorten that road from people looking at your different products to actually making a purchase. Embedding your content directly to your website. This is something that if you're not doing it right now, definitely recommend that. It's just going to allow people to interact with your content on your website without having to redirect them anywhere else. And you'll have them right there, where you want them. So, if you do have, products embedded into that publication, they're already on your website, they click on that, it just takes them to a different page and just really creates a, concise, easy experience for them to interact with your catalog and then lead to purchases from there. And then the shareable full screen reader link. This is one of our features that I would say is probably most used by all of our publishers, but it's definitely a great way for catalogs to use. It's going to allow you to easily share your content across social, but this is also a great way for you to use for email campaigns. So it'll create a custom dedicated link that anyone can click on. It'll open up your publication in a new tab, and it will be just that publication. So again, you don't have to worry about a redirect or anyone clicking on that and then clicking on anything else. once they click on that, it's going to be in full screen. It's going to really allow them to dive into whatever content it is that you're trying to get them to look at. So this is our publisher highlight. So this is where Liz is going to hop on and just talk a little bit about what she does with Wisteria, and just how they use Issuu to enhance their digital content and promote their products that they sell. So Liz, if you could just hop on and just, again, give a little bit of background about your role, and then just a little bit about the company, and then we can kind of talk about just some of the questions that I have for you, just how you use the product.
Great. So Wisteria is a luxury home furnishings retailer. We specialize in global finds and unique treasures from around the world. We actually started out catalog-based and recently relaunched our e-com a couple years ago. So everything's still pretty new, small team, small company. But going forward, we want to reach new markets, which is why we are expanding our digital footprint. So part of my role is whenever we have new product launches, those all come within our catalogs, lookbooks, and those are published online. So I have my interns and my coworkers, we all tag these catalogs together. And when we started using Issuu to publish our catalogs online, we link it to product pages for customers to be able to share them, and it makes it easier to reach people outside of the Dallas market. So our top 3 customers are based out of Dallas, California, and Florida. Since we are expanding, we're opening a new retail store in Houston. It's an efficient way to market our brand down there too.
And then Liz, so one thing I kind of wanted to bring up on the call, especially with our featured stories that people can use, you guys do a lot of really cool stuff with nonprofits, and that's what I'm going to actually use in the example for our visual stories. Could you kind of talk about how Wisteria partners with nonprofits and how you kind of integrate that directly into your catalogs?
Yeah. So in every country we work with, we partner with a nonprofit organization to help spread the word about their important work they're doing for their communities. Many of our products are handmade, delicate pieces. In our recent new buy, we've included several pots and vases crafted by artisans in Vietnam. So I don't know if that's in your next slide, if you show a little highlight of that, Craig.
Pull that up. All right, let me just. So this is the visual story that I created. So yeah, this is kind of highlighting what you were just talking about.
Yeah, and this story, you can only find it in the catalog. So I think it'd be really good for us to publish on Instagram, on our Instagram story, since we're trying to increase followers in there. Our Facebook stories, that's something that we haven't started, but eventually we would like to start using that for.
And then this is just another example of just one of the stories that I created that's highlighting one of your customers, and there's the different products that you have embedded within that story. So I think this is a really cool way to kind of highlight what you guys were really personalizing your products, and then also just placing those products directly in that and getting those in front of your customers in a new way. So Liz, with your catalogs, how do you typically promote your catalogs?
We will feature it on our homepage, and then for our emails, we'll link it directly to that page.
So right here, I'm on your website, and then this is your online catalog. So I see that you have it here, and then do you do anything with social as well, or?
Yes.
And then what social media platforms do you mostly use?
Instagram
and Facebook.
Okay.
Sometimes we usually show the first page of the catalog, and then we tag it back to the site using Issuu. We might also feature it with our other media feature partners, other magazines, and things like that. We send them the catalogs that we actually tag using Issuu in order for them to view the products that we offer, and then they can come back and ask us for product loans or to use the high-res images to feature them on their stuff.
Awesome. Yeah, and then I'm just kind of going through the catalog here, and you can notice everything on here is shoppable. You guys created shoppable links on here. just as far as, getting this set up, like, what are some of the like the main features that you're using in addition to, embedding it in the links with Issuu?
That's actually the main ones that we use. We haven't, to be honest, fully used Issuu in every sense of the word. We're starting to develop a better method to use it going forward because we're trying to grow our digital footprint.
And then, so with you sharing this new feature with us, it allows for our customers and readers to view these stories more easily. So when most customers open up their emails through mobile devices, we want to be able to optimize these digital stories and articles that are mobile friendly.
Perfect. Cool. So what I'll do now is I'll just kind of hop back over to, where was it? Over to the slides. All right. So hey, thanks, Liz. And then, if anyone does have any questions for Liz just about, how they use Issuu or just anything just in general about, how they promote their catalogs in other ways digitally, just feel free to ask questions and we'll be able to get to that at the very end. Before I hop into the product highlight, I'm just going to quickly, some 5 tips for sharing social media. So one of them, find your voice, whether it's business-like or casual, just find your social media voice and keep it consistent. And then cater to your audience. So find out, who your audience is, and within the dashboard, you can kind of figure out, are they using mobile devices? Are they using mostly PC, where embeds and the full screen reader would be best for them, and just sort of what interests them. You can see on a page level where you're getting the most engagement. You can use tags and hashtags. Again, anytime you post to social media, definitely important to do that. It'll allow people to find content based on specific categories. And then you can also tease your publications. So anytime you're about to release anything, maybe it's a new product or just the new issue of your catalog, if you can tease that out, that's a great way to sort of build up interest before it's actually launched. And this is a great way for you to use stories, actually. So you can actually create stories before you even publish the actual content, and sort of generate the interest that way. And then interact with your readers. So anytime that they do like anything or comment anything on social media, if you can respond to them, it really creates that great experience where they can actually feel connected with the brand. So what I'm going to do from here now is I'm actually going to hop into the tool. And I'm just going to. All right, so anyone who is a publisher on Issuu should be pretty familiar with this page. This is just the dashboard here. And what I'm going to do right now is I'm just going to kind of go over some of the different features. So the first one I'm going to touch on is our article stories. So I have this example pulled up. This is actually from Wisteria. And this is the highlight on their Vietnam sort of nonprofit highlight. And this story was created, and you can easily just see, like, this is just sort of the preview of this. And what you can do is you can actually scroll through, and this is exactly what that experience would be like for the reader. And as you scroll through, it can highlight these different interesting stories that they have on here that's really exciting and makes people feel more connected with the pieces. And then you can actually plug in the actual products to help promote it in that way. So it really allows you to create a targeted experience for those specific products and share those out with your audience. And then when you get to the very bottom, what you'll notice is there's actually a link back to the catalog. So it's a great way for you to highlight specific products and then drive people back to the exact publication. I have another example of this right here. This is similar to that visual story that we saw earlier. Again, showing the products in a natural space and then highlighting them down below. And then at the very bottom, it will just drive people back to the entire catalog. So with the article stories, they're really simple to get set up. So really all you need to do is you need to be logged into Issuu, and then you just go over to your publications. So from this point, you can go ahead and you can just click on any publication it is that you want to work on. So I'm just going to use this one as an example. And once you're in your publication home, which is this page, I can go ahead and I can click on article stories, which is on the left-hand side under enhance. And then I can click on create new story. So from this point, all I really need to do is just click on any of the pages that I want to turn into a story. And as you can see, this is the example that I used before, and I can go ahead and I can just click on this one again. So you would just click on the pages that you want to turn into the story. And I'll just use these 2 pages just for time's sake right now. And once you have your pages selected, you'll notice over here it says pages 16 through 17. That's just going to let you know which ones have been selected. And then you can add in your title. So this is what's going to show up over your header image. So anything that you plug in here, this is going to be at the very top of your article story. And we also have the story description. So anything that you plug in here, this is going to be indexed by Google. It's also going to give people a quick synopsis of what this publication is actually about. So you can highlight whatever products it is that you want to promote specifically here. If you do leave anything out as far as keywords go, it's not a big deal. Any of the text within the publication is also going to be indexed by Google. This is just sort of an opportunity for you to double down on that. And then for categories, you can go ahead and you can just click one of the 19 different categories that we have. In this case, what I would do is I would just click on Home and Garden. So from here, I would just click Next. And then on the left-hand side, this is where it's going to be basically the pages that we selected. And then it's going to have what we call detected segments. So you'll notice actually as I highlight over things, it will pull out things into separate segments. And I can actually click through any of these things and I can populate them over on the right-hand side. And then this is building that mobile experience. So if I wanted to start out just with a little bit of our text, we can go ahead and we can do that. So I can click this right here and we can just start building it out just like we would with any other story. So you'll notice as I click them on the right-hand side, that's sort of just how they populate. If there's anything in here that you do click on that you don't want in here, you can go ahead and you just click on delete and you can remove it just like that. It's really simple. And then we can actually just start clicking on the images. And you notice that the images will actually populate, over here in the same order that I clicked them, just like with the text. And then I always like to integrate the images directly with the different paragraphs that we have within here, just to make that reading experience a really smooth process. You want to keep your readers engaged and you want to show them the content in a way that's going to not fatigue them with too much text. So as much as you can integrate any of your images with that, typically the better it is. So once we have that set up, we can also go ahead and we can click on a header image. Typically it will pull up whatever the first image is here, but if you want to select anything else, you can always do that. So you can just go through any of your images. In this case, I'm going to click on this one. And then as you're building this, what you can do is you can click on Preview Story over here, and you can kind of just see what that's going to look like. And then you can scroll through, and as you create this story, it basically just creates whatever it is that you want to be displayed. And again, it will drive readers back to your publication as a whole, so it's a great way to promote that. Once you're set with that, you can just click on Publish Now. And then it will give you this URL link. You just copy that, and then you can plug that in anywhere that you can share a link. So Facebook, Twitter, you can put it into basically your email signatures, anywhere on your website that you'd want somebody to interact with that. The second thing that we'll touch on, this is the visual stories. So again, these are the ones that were over here. These are the Google AMP links. You'll notice that it says AMP up here. That just means that it is part of that Google initiative. And that's going to help with your indexing and people finding your content directly from there. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to click over here back to Issue. And then I can click on my visual stories directly from here, just like I did with article stories. And then I can click Create New Visual Story. So we have, basically right now we have 2 different templates. We have another one that will be coming out. But the different templates that we have are Inspire and Voice. And you can actually preview them just by clicking on Preview, and it gives you an idea of what that's going to look like. If you want to just go ahead and you know what style you want, you can just click on that style by clicking here. And then you just click on whatever pages it is that you want to highlight in this visual story. So I'm just going to go through, I'm just going to pick whatever ones that I want to show up. And I'll just use that same example that we did before. And I'll click on Create Visual Story. So from this point, what it's going to do is it's going to build what it thinks is going to be the best look for this particular visual story. Depends on how long your internet connection, among other things, just how long it will take to create this visual story from this point. So while this is loading up, so now it's pulling it over and we're actually in the editor. And what you'll see on the left-hand side, these are all the images that it found within those pages I selected. And getting them to populate, we have these different pages. And this is how it's going to show when people look at the visual story. So it's really simple to move these around. I can just click on this and drag it over. And then any of the text within here, I can just go ahead and I can enter anything in here that I want. So again, this is a great way for you to promote anything that will be coming out. Really simple. Again, everything just drag and drop. Any of the text within here, you can just remove, and you can add anything else. And as you sort of build this out, you can basically decide, if everything's set up the way that you want, and again, just drag and drop. And then we can click preview over here on the left-hand side. And then it will just give us an example of what this is going to look like. If you're happy with the way that everything looks, great, you can go ahead and you can just click on Create Story. If you want to make any changes, you can just click back over here on Assets and just continue to sort of tweak it. But it doesn't take longer than just a few minutes to get it set up. And then once we click Create Story, we can go ahead, and I usually like to just remove the description and add anything in here that you want. Again, this will take just a couple minutes for it to convert over. And then from this point, what it's going to do is it's going to give us that Google AMP link that we can go ahead and we can copy, and then we can just share out either across social media, put it onto our website, put it into our email signatures, anywhere that we want it to be promoted. And so once it's done converting over, again, plugging in a description is definitely important. I'm just going to skip over this just for time's sake, but this will help with your SEO, people understanding what this publication is exactly about. And once we click on share, this is our Google AMP link. We can go ahead and copy that, and then we can also just share it directly to social media. Instagram is the only one that I have connected to this account, but this was shared directly to the Instagram stories. So from this point, what I'm going to do is I'm going to hop over back to our publisher home, and I'm just going to talk a little bit about the in-document links. So if I click on our publications from here, I can click on this example. And then on the left-hand side, in the same section as the stories, I can click on Add Links in Video. This is really important for anyone who does want to drive traffic back to specific products. And it's really simple. You basically click on the page that you want to embed the link to, and then you plug that link in just like you'd be sharing it any other way. So if I wanted to click on a specific page, I click on that page, and I typically like to zoom in just it makes it easier for me. And then any of our products over here, what I can do is I can actually just draw a box around that product. And then I would go over to shopping link, and this adds a little shopping cart icon over that link just to identify to the reader that it is a link that will drive them directly to a product. And then we would just plug in whatever that link is to that specific product. And then if you need to go back and you need to sort of just kind of doctor it up, make sure it covers everything the way that you want it to, you're all set, and you can just click on Save. So from this point, if a reader does view this catalog when it's live either on your website or posted to social media, or if they find it on Issuu, they'll be able to be driven back directly to your products. Something else that's pretty cool, if you ever have any video content that you want to highlight within your publication, you can do that from the same process as well. I'm just going to pretend that this was a section that I left open for a video. So what I can do is I can highlight a frame for wherever I want that video to be displayed. And then instead of being on web, which is to link back to any web page, or going over to shopping, I can click on video. And then I have a couple options here. So I can either play an overlay, which would expand and darken the background of your catalog and just play the video on top of that. Or I can have embedded directly into the publication. And we can have it either embed in the publication and click to play, which would be this option, or we can embed in the publication and autoplay. So I'm just going to go ahead and click on that one. And I actually found a video that was from Wisteria that's from Vimeo. So I'm just going to quickly highlight this. And then I'm going to plug it in. So the links do need to be either from YouTube or Vimeo. Then you basically just plug it in just like you'd be sharing a link anywhere else. And then I'm just going to quickly move that up and kind of move it around just to make it look nice. I'm going to click Save. And then you can see what that's going to look like for the reader. So we have over here our video. We have our shopping link right here. And I can just click our video. And then it expands right over the top of it. And it just creates a really cool experience.
I grew up going to garage sales and flea markets with my dad, and so on.
So if you have any video content like that, it's a great way to go ahead and integrate that directly into your catalogs and create that really dynamic experience that will help keep them engaged and expose them to different products that you have within there. The last little bit that I'm going to cover here, this is our full screen reader link. So this is, again, a great way for you to share your content either on social media or sharing your content through email campaigns. And it's really simple to get set up. What you can do is you can click over here on your publications, find the publication that you want to share, and then down below in share, what you'll see is there's embed on website, and then there's full screen sharing. So the process is basically the same for each one. We have different parameters that you can set up. So size, you can change the background color. You can pick a specific color that you like. From down here, you can remove the issue branding. You can also promote your other publications too. So if you click on this, this would show as see more, and this would promote different publications. So your different catalogs that you have if you want to drive people there as well. But you can always remove that. We have the share button. So this is always going to show up by default, but if you ever wanted to remove that, you can just click on that there. And then from that point, you can either drop in your logo right here, and then once you're set, you can click on Get Embed Code. And this will just give you an iframe code, and you just copy that, and you can plug that directly into your website. And that's exactly what Wisteria did here. So you can see this is their most recent catalog here. They also have all of their past catalogs down below. They have it in a really great way where you can find everything from one spot. You click on it, and it just takes you to any of their catalogs that they have embedded directly to their website. So much like setting up the embed code, the full screen sharing link looks very similar. And we would just set up our basic parameters, and then we would click Save and Get Link. And then rather than an iframe, we would actually just get this URL link. And when somebody clicks on it, it's just going to open up your publication automatically in full screen. They can expand it a little bit more. And then once they click on this, you know they don't have to worry about clicking on anything else to actually go into the publication. It's going to hop them right into the content. And even if they exit out, this would just be any of your other publications that you've uploaded. Even if they X out, it's just this, so you don't need to worry about any sort of related content, anything else showing up. You know that they're just going to be looking at your content that's been posted through this link. So that pretty much covers everything that we're going to go through on this call. So I did get a question here just about visual stories. And Kelly asked, can visual stories be shared to Instagram stories? So they definitely can be shared to Instagram stories. They can be shared to Facebook stories as well, or Snapchat, whatever sort of platform you're using for that. So once you actually get it uploaded, and I can kind of hop back over here, go back over to my visual stories section, and I can click on share from here. And then they're actually directly, if you have your widgets, so if you have your social media shared directly there, you can click through there. And then I can go back over here to where all my visual stories are shared. So these are all my visual stories that I've created. I can go ahead. I'm just going to hop back over to where it was originally uploaded. Click on edit. Click on create story. Once it's done converting, it will have that link back over to Instagram that we saw before. And you can click on that and that'll give you an MP4 version that you can then upload to Instagram stories in form of a video. So Kelly, I had another question. Is there a way to publish privately so that you can use Issuu for wholesale catalogs? So you definitely can. So one way to go about doing this is just going over, once you're in your upload process. So I'm going to click over here on add content. And people use this for a number of different reasons. So if it's pricing, industry pricing or anything like that, you can go ahead and you can click on this feature right here. This is our unlisted feature. So by default, everything's going to be on public. If we click on unlisted, that's just going to make it so it's not indexed by Google. It's also not going to show up on your Issuu homepage. And then the only people that will be able to view that content are people you send that link to directly. So that's essentially our private version. So unless anyone else has any questions, that kind of covers everything that we were going to do on our Issuu catalog webinar. Again, I think we have a couple more on here. Okay, is it possible to embed GIF file into a publication, or does Issuu only support videos? So at this time, it does only support video content, and it does need to be content that has been uploaded to either YouTube or Vimeo. So you'll grab that URL, and then you'll just be able to embed that into your publication, just like you would with any other link. So yeah, thanks again for everyone for joining. Again, this webinar has been recorded, so we're going to share this out with everyone who registered and also attended. So feel free to share that with anybody else who might be interested in learning more about embedding your content or sharing your content using Issuu and enhancing it with the features that we have available. If anyone does have any questions, please do write to support. Just support@Issuu. We're happy to answer any questions that come up, hop on a call, work through any of the features that we have. So thanks again for everyone for joining, and thanks Liz for hopping on and talking a little bit about Wisteria with everybody. All right, thanks everybody. Have a good day. Bye.